Rod Stewart is Brat though, right?
Yeah, but there are points when everyone turns into Paul Mescal. You're like, is that just a guy in short shorts?
And I think it's probably those people that look a bit more conspicuous, maybe a hat, maybe sunglasses.
Honestly, I can't wait to hear how she kept this
Oh,
secret.
I love it.
Well.
It's a big ring.
Wow.
I know. Too much chat about chat and no actual chat.
No actual chat. What is their chat?
This is Showbiz Fix, where we will be taking you behind the scenes of our biggest scoops here at The Sun, with some exclusive extra gossip and a rundown on everything you lot are loving this week. Now, settle down, crack open a warm cider and grab your band t-shirts, because today we're heading to Worthy Farm for Glastonbury. We've got all the top intel from The Sun's music gurus on Bazaar, and we'll be looking at all the secret sets, guest performers, and sharing some legendary Glasto goss. Plus, a little look at Kelsey Parker's devastating baby loss news and the celebs having a summer of love. Guys, I just nearly did something really embarrassing. What? When I said Glastonbury, I nearly did some, and that would have been the most embarrassing thing I'd probably ever done on camera that my mum knows about. Right, well, God, Glastonbury. Emily, we've dragged you away from your packing because Emily Webber from The Sun on Sunday, you are one of our team heading down to Glastonbury this year.
I know, second time. So I feel like a little bit less nervous. I feel like, you know, you've sort of done it once before, so you know what to pack. So yeah, very excited.
I just think it's so funny that TikTok these days is like full of Glastonbury packing lists.
It is.
On these packing lists is nothing that I have ever taken to Glastonbury. Like Kelly, you've been loads before as well. All of these things on the list.
Or like a random hook to hang your bag up in your tent.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I took a torch, like a full-on torch last year, even though my phone has a torch. And I have about 10 battery packs. So God knows why I needed a proper camping torch, but
no, I like that though. That's the kind of thing I appreciate packing.
Yeah, you never know.
For me, it's the people taking the full glam, but maybe that's just because I'm always a mess. Right, people that aren't going to be a mess down at Glastonbury are all the celebs. So this is one of the celeb events of the year. Who are we expecting to go down this year?
So this year, because next year will be the fallow year, which means that, you know, a lot of celebs will want to come down this year. It's the sort of last hurrah. So obviously the 1975 headlining, which will mean Gabriette, who is Matty Healy's fiance, she'll also be heading down. Gabriette is also best friends with Charli XCX, so there's a whole girl gang going on there as well. We've also got Denise Welsh, who has famously said she will not be camping, she will be jetting in and out.
Not in a hot air balloon though.
Hopefully not.
Oh my God, that was
hopefully not in a hot air balloon.
That was my favourite thing that's happened all year. That was such strange. It was sort of like internet myth and legend that she'd gone missing on that hot air balloon.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so that was the best.
Denise not arriving in a hot air balloon.
Hopefully not. But I think, you know, we'll see lots of celebs there. Obviously, Paul Mescal, we know, loves it. Gracie Abrams is performing as well. His girlfriend, he'll be down to watch her. So hopefully it's going to be a celeb fest.
Well, I saw Gracie put a TikTok up last night of her doing the apple dance. So I'm like, and she's like, see you Saturday, Charlie. So I'm like, is she going to be the apple girl?
Oh, that's the...
Yeah.
I'm showing my age here. I'm like, oh, I know what that is. Oh my God, so it's just going to be absolutely non-stop, isn't it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Dua Lipa was out with Charli X the other night as well. XCX.
Yeah.
Is she going down?
I would love to see Dua down, because obviously last year she was headlining. I feel like this year she'd be properly able to let her hair down. We all know what it's like when you're working. I feel like you can't really have fun. And when we saw that backstage picture of her post-Wembley show, it was Amelia de Moldenberg, Lily Allen, Charli XCX, Dua. So it's this whole girl gang.
Yeah.
Because Lily's friends with Olivia as well. Because when I saw Olivia perform,
Olivia
Rodrigo, who's headlining on Sunday night, she brought Lily out on stage, and I think it was like 2023 when she was just on the second stage. So I mean, I could see her bringing Lily out again.
Totally.
That would be fun. So. I love that there's this new girl gang in town, because I feel like we've not had one since Taylor Swift and that whole Bad Blood era. I also really enjoyed that when, I know that when Bazaar were down at Glastonbury last year, our Bazaar editor Ellie Henman just bumps into Dua backstage, and she was just like really cash, vest top, no makeup, like actually having a good time. And I think that that's what happens at Glastonbury, isn't it? People just actually have a good time. But the important thing is obviously the music. Everyone's having a good time, but they're there for the music. So I've actually got some intel fresh from the Bazaar desk. So you're going to have to forgive me for reading this out because it's like fresh, steaming hot goss. So there's been lots and lots of rumours all over TikTok, especially of who the secret sets are going to be. And Bazaar has already revealed that Pulp is definitely going to be one. So here we go, fresh from the biz desk. So on Friday, we've got Lorde on Woodsies.
Woo!
Lewis Capaldi on the Pyramid stage. Saturday, Pulp on the Pyramid, Haim in the Park. And on Sunday, we've got Fatboy Slim and Kate Nash. Bastille, however, have dashed fans' hopes. They've performed every 3 years since 2013, so fans were convinced they were going to be there. But Dan's just going for fun instead, we're hearing.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Okay, discuss. What do we think?
Well, I'm excited about Kate Nash because when I went to Glastonbury for the first time in 2007, she had just released her first single and I walked, no joke, for an hour to the BBC introducing stage to watch her. So I feel like, you know, me and Kate, we've had a relationship at Glastonbury. So that's an exciting one for me. She's a brilliant performer. Definitely just want to see her. Yeah. Also, Lewis Capaldi coming back because obviously he played on the second stage in 2022. Then 2023 he had that, he performed and then took time off. Yeah. He hasn't really performed since. So I think it'd be really nice to see him back. I actually saw him last week at Charli XCX. He was just watching it with his pals and he was singing away. And I was actually thinking, how weird is it if your friend is a singer and is just singing beside you at a concert because probably sounds really good. You're like, I just want to watch Charlie, Lewis, pipe down.
It'd be like that person at karaoke that's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Emily, what are you thinking? Who are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to Lorde, and I think Lorde could be one that potentially comes out with Charli XCX as well.
Ooh.
And she could be another addition to this girl gang. I am loving CMAT at the moment, and she's got a secret set on the BBC introducing stage. Mm-hmm. She's also on the list of the full lineup as well. So that will be really exciting. Obviously, Lewis Capaldi, I think it's obviously had a really emotional performance when he last performed and everyone was singing Someone You Love together. And I think it's the perfect slot for him. It's a half an hour slot. It's on the Pyramid stage. And I think he'll really have the crowd behind him.
And he'll totally be milling about after. When I went to 2023, he was just backstage at the bar. I remember actually me and Hannah Hope went and were like chatting to him and he was laughing because he was with Niall Horan and he was like, Niall Horan's too good looking to hang out with. Like, I am the ugly friend beside him. I need to ditch him. And he's just so funny. He honestly cracks me up. He's just the funniest celebrity.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I'll be rooting for him as well then. So you've already mentioned that we're expecting Lorde to come out with Charli, maybe?
Potentially. I think it would fit really well and she's there as well. So
another hot one just in. Love this. Breaking news. Potentially Addison Rae is going to join Charli XCX on stage as well. So she's over from the States. She's been doing press and gigs and all that kind of thing. And Charli's been trying to get her on, I'm hearing. More my speed here. Rod Stewart's going to have 3 special guests. He said on Sidetracked, the podcast. So we know Ronnie Wood's going to be one of them. And we're assuming the other will be Kenny Jones from The Faces. So, and then a mystery guest. So wouldn't it be fun if he had someone really sort of left field, like Stormzy or...
Charli.
Yeah. Rod Stewart is brat though, right?
Yeah.
I think he probably is quite brat.
Those leopard print leggings.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. There was a hot tip from Jack Hardwick, wasn't there, about Charli's XCX set and for the fans?
Yeah, obviously it's on the other stage and we all know the other stage is a lot smaller. It gets completely rammed. And we saw this last year with Avril Lavigne and it was horrific to try and even get anywhere close. So Jack Hardwick has obviously said, get there early because as is with Elton, they had a warning to say you need to get there early. And if you don't, it's going to be full. So fans
they do just close the road.
And fans can be disappointed. And then you've got this situation where you've got this, what would you say? It's like a track of people and you don't want that in
the traffic
summer.
can get pretty heavy.
No, it is like traffic.
It is. You're sort of walking like this, going, and then they hold you back, and then it's like, okay, you can go now.
Yeah.
But Sisters is on at the same time, so if you don't get to see Charli,
I feel like a lot of people are going to be using this opportunity to see Charli, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to Charli.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have obviously bumped into lots of celebs in the crowd, around and about, backstage, all that kind of thing. How does one go about spotting a celebrity at Glastonbury?
I mean, you just need to keep, do you know what? You would be like Because at some festivals, there's fancy VIPs. They just hang out there. That's not the way it is at Glastonbury. They get in the mix.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably those people that look a bit more conspicuous, maybe a hat, maybe sunglasses. That's the sort of thing I would be keeping an eye out for. And you can sort of realise, like for Pyramid Stage, towards the left, that is where the hospitality people come out. If you linger around there, you might see people coming in and out. That's where, when I went just as a punter, that's where I went to spot people. I was like, oh, they come out there.
And celebrities are like us, you've got one nice pair of sunglasses, maybe a nice suede jacket that you're going to take. You're probably going to wear that over the course of the whole festival. So if you've seen it once, that's that jacket again. And also people like Stormzy, so tall. I remember last year, him and Maya, he was in like the full tracksuit and that's completely obvious. But there are points when everyone turns into Paul Mescal. You're like, is that just a guy in short shorts or is that Paul? And when you're thinking, is that him?
There is a lot of Irish there.
I love that because there's all these let's say girls having a nice time thinking, I snogged Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
But I think that's the thing with Glastonbury more than any other festival, because they tend to, other festivals, celebrities, performers, jet in, jet out. People go and they stay the whole time. Like your Friday night performers will still be there on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because it's just really difficult to get a ticket, isn't it? So if you're there, enjoy it. Absolutely. Kelly, you told me a story about finding a celebrity in the crowd once and a row ensued.
Yes, this is back in 2007. Now, she's not with us anymore, but it was Peaches Geldof. I actually had to go back into my archives and reread this story because it was so long ago, I can barely remember. But she was a big fan of Bright Eyes and she was friends with him and was going to watch him and basically just happened to be in front of me. And I was like, oh my God, Peaches Geldof. And she was on her phone, yelling into her phone, being like, you need to get here now. This is so important to me. And it basically turned out her boyfriend at the time, Fred Les, was not there. And he arrived just at the end of the set. And then they spent the last song of the set just fighting. She was like, this was really important to me. Why aren't you here? Why weren't you here? What were you doing? And I loved it, obviously. And I remember it ran in a newspaper called Peaches and Scream. Love a
Very
pun.
good. I just think it's like, I've said this before, but you get people in a field with the cider and they just forget that they're famous, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. At Glastonbury, that is the vibe.
Yeah. That's why it's so brilliant. Which is why I thought it was absolutely mad that Laura Whitmore had her hen do at Glastonbury. So when was this? This was a couple of years ago.
This was a couple of years ago. I think it was 2023. So I actually met her in, they used to have a garden party on a Sunday and she was there on her hen do, living her best life. She'd actually got married, I think, during the pandemic and hadn't really celebrated. So she did it in style. Like she went by helicopter. She had some really impressive outfits. And yes, she was just enjoying herself. But I think actually because Glastonbury is big, she probably did get more left alone than if she'd went to one of the smaller festivals. I mean, Kate Moss famously had her hen do at Isle of Wight Festival. And with a pack of journalists following her around. She seemed to be enjoying it.
It'd be an ace handy, wouldn't it? Like you'd be like, you can go off, do your own thing, come back together, drink.
Yeah. I was a pandemic bride and I always wanted my hen do at a festival.
Oh,
we almost ended up at one of those like tribute day festivals because that was all that was allowed in COVID. But hey, we went to Hull instead. So shout out.
Close enough.
I know. What would you recommend to people who are going to Glastonbury for the first time? Any survival tips?
I would say use, the rehydration tablets.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to also have a little drink, use that as your mixer with a spirit of choice. And then you're having the hydration plus little drink.
I've never thought of doing that before. I like it.
And it's fizzy. It's fizzy and fruity.
Nothing beats water, obviously.
Nothing beats water. Everyone drink water.
Yeah.
But if you do want to have a drink, at least you're having both.
Oh, that's really good.
That's clever.
I'm like, make sure your battery packs are charged.
And
also have a meeting point, because when you get there, despite, Vodafone sponsors it, phone network can get a bit crazy. So we actually had a very random bin that we used to just meet at. And if you got lost, go to the bin. And I think just having something like that, because if you lose your friends, it's like annoying that you're like, you can maybe like for an hour or so, but if you're like hours and hours by yourself, it's maybe like, if we haven't seen each other, let's all go to this point and meet up.
Yeah, definitely. Because unless you're friends with Stormzy and you can like see him over the crowd.
No,
I'm quite short.
Yeah, you can get lost.
Exactly. Who are you definitely going to be seeing, Emily?
I actually love Olivia Dean. She's doing a secret set, rumoured to be doing a secret set. Loving her at the moment. Charli, of course. Rod. Definitely can't wait for that on Sunday. And I love Olivia Rodrigo. And I think, although, you know, that's the Sunday night, sort of the later slot, hopefully it'll still have a great crowd.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be very Irish. I'll be seeing Snow Patrol. I'll be seeing The Script. I'm going to go see Kneecap. I am excited for Olivia Rodrigo, and also like this Lewis set. Like I'll be well into that. I'm a big fan of his, so definitely be watching that. And also a bit of 1975. I've seen them a couple of times, and they usually put on a pretty good show.
And very important question. Are you going to be taking off your Isle of Wight wristband?
Or are you going to become
one of these crusty wristband
No,
people?
I hate it. I only got back from Isle of Wight quite late last night.
Oh, clang.
Sorry, I just spent the weekend at a festival, and then I thought I'd go to another one this weekend. I went to BST the weekend after, so
You're embarrassing.
But I couldn't find any scissors. I will be taking it off as soon as we finish here.
I just think that I get that it's really fun and stuff, but it's just by the end of the summer, if you've left them all on, it's crusty.
Oh, it's not for me.
Oh God, right. Okay, so other things that have happened over the weekend, and this actually happened when you were in Isle of Wight, Kelly, is the devastating news about Kelsey Parker's tragic baby loss. So the reason why I mention you here, Kelly, is because you have grown close to Kelsey Parker because you've interviewed her a number of times, and you were one of the people that she told about this sort of before necessarily reaching out. So I just wanted to ask you, how is Kelsey? Explain a bit about what's gone on.
So Kelsey Parker was married to Tom Parker from The Wanted, and she tragically lost him 3 years ago. They were together, I think, for 13 years, and they have 2 children together. And then I'd interviewed her a few times before that happened. And then the last time I interviewed her for the cover of Fabulous, she had a new partner, Will Lindsay, and we talked about how she'd like to start a family with him. She's still quite young. He didn't have kids. He's become a stepfather to her 2 kids. And then very excitingly, she announced soon after she was pregnant, and it was really lovely. And on Sunday, she tragically lost the baby, a wee baby boy. And it was actually one of her friends gave me a call and said, because we've grown very close. We both went through loss and grief, and we've talked a lot about that. So it's I don't even know what to say, because it's just like she's been through this horrific time, and I really think she thought she was getting a bit of a happy ending. Now she was really excited to have the baby. The kids were really excited to have a new sibling. Will was excited to be a dad, and it's just another tragedy for her. And I just don't know how she picks herself back up. I mean, she's a strong girl, and I'm sure she will. She's taking some time out. I've written a piece actually of The Sun about it, because she gets trolled a lot over Tom, over her new partner, over being pregnant. And I've already seen trolls having a go at her over this. And I'm like, I don't know how you can find something nasty to say to a woman who's just lost a baby at 9 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awful. But thankfully, a lot of people have rallied around her. Like Giovanna Fletcher's come out and spoke. I know she's really good friends with Georgia Jones, Danny Jones's wife. She's been in touch with her. I think she's going to just take some time away and try to process that. And obviously with Will and the family, it's just really sad. And I think the most upsetting thing about it all was like Tom's family were really excited as well about this new baby, and very much considered the baby boy would be part of their family as well, and sort of continuation of like he was going to be a Parker. The baby was actually named Phoenix Parker Lindsay, and to keep Tom's name in there. And it's just awful. And like I just send her so much love and support, because it is a real tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just gone through so much, and our thoughts with them all. But finding some positivity, I guess, is what she is so good at, because she's had to become so good at that.
Completely. And I mean, I know she's really become like a voice for widows, a voice for women that lose their partners young. But on top of that, also for people going through brain cancer, which doesn't get a huge amount of funding. She does lots of charity work to raise awareness about that. And I would imagine when the time is right, she will do charity stuff to help people who lose their babies too. It would not surprise me at all, because she's someone who's always like, right, how can I improve the situation? How can I like help other people going through it?
Yeah, which is just incredible. Gosh, sending lots of love to Kelsey. You've actually got another strong woman who's experienced loss on the cover of Fabulous this weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, we do indeed. We've got Annabelle Croft.
Yeah.
Yes, she's chatting all about Wimbledon. Kicks off next week. Not just about the festivals, all about the sport too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite the summer of sport for women. We've got the female Euros. Female Euros, is that what they call them? They've got the Lionesses going to the Euros soon. And then Annabelle, in her interview this weekend, she's talking about moving on from loss. She lost her husband a couple of years ago. And when she did Strictly, she just was talking about how that was just brought her back to life and how her and Johannes still speak like every day. He was her dance partner. She actually says she wishes she could just find something in her life that is the same as Strictly because it gave her so much purpose. And she just loved it.
Wonderful, because not everyone has that to say about Strictly, do they?
Yeah.
Well, she sort of says that. She says that in the piece. We obviously, since some of the issues with Strictly, they've brought in people to sort of support them and what's the word?
The chaperone.
I lost my word there.
Yeah.
Sorry. Since some of the drama Strictly, they've brought in chaperones. But she said she wouldn't have liked that. She said that she had such intimacy with Johannes, and she thinks that might have been ruined if there'd been another person in the room.
Johannes is one of the good eggs.
He is.
Yeah,
and I'm loving her Annabelle's wardrobe series at the moment with her daughter for Wimbledon and dressing her for Wimbledon. And can we just say how beautiful Annabelle is? And her daughter is a complete lookalike. And they're doing like a Wimbledon dress together. And she had this white tailored waistcoat, trousers, and she just looks incredible. Yeah. Hats off to her.
It's like the opposite of Glastonbury.
It is.
She's très chic and she looks great on the camera.
Well, speaking of Wimbledon, Ellie Henneman had a fab story in today's paper that there's some whispers circulating around Emma Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz.
Yes.
Have you heard about this?
I mean, what a power couple.
That would be great. But I mean, I think that's, people date what they know, don't they?
Yeah. So everyone thinks that something's going on because she was cheering him on twice last week. They both arrived at Queen's this week within 2 minutes of each other, which is always a key sign that they've been somewhere together, potentially, allegedly. And they are teaming up together to play in the US Open Mixed Doubles Championship. But everyone is convinced that that court partnership is going to be turning into something else because apparently the One Love, there's a tennis pun in here somewhere.
I was like, love.
All the love. I've not had enough coffee to find it. But I love this. So why... It's this kind of sporty summer with all the women's football. People are feeling the love. It reminds me of that summer. Do you remember when it was the 2016, it was the really big Love Island year as well. And it was just like everyone was watching Love Island and everyone was watching football and everyone felt happy.
And we had I swear we had a heat wave. It was like a double whammy. Everyone was in a good mood. Yeah.
Well, I love this sort of like them arriving 2 minutes apart. Like, are they sitting around the corner in the car going, you go, and then I'll come. And then they'll be like, they're like, oh, hi. I love that.
I know.
So sneaky.
Yeah. But also you can afford 2 different cars, probably.
Maybe they're so into each other that they cannot be away from each other for a minute.
Oh, I love that. Ooh, another person which I'm really excited about. Last night, did you see AJ Adudu has got engaged?
Oh my
to the
gosh.
boyfriend that
no one
really knew about, which in today's day and age is so rare, right?
I am so thrilled for her. We had her on the cover a couple of years ago, and after the interview, she was getting her makeup done, and we were literally talking about dating, and she was saying that she had just had bad day after bad day, and she was with some guy on the image. She was a bit like, oh, he's definitely messing me about. So when I saw her all happy last night, I was like, oh, because she's a good egg. We like her.
Yeah.
And what a ring as well.
It's a big ring.
Wow.
I know. What a hard launch as well. Like there's no hand in the background with the beer, like we all do, the soft launch, and then it's on the grid, like straight in with the rock.
She's like, hi, I've got a boyfriend and I'm going to marry him.
I also love that someone said, oh my God, who's the man? And she put, my fiance.
Honestly, I can't wait to hear how she kept this
I
secret
love
for
it.
so long. And obviously, when this Big Brother comes around every year, we all like to know about people's relationships. And we've said before, I think you just stop asking because
we all stopped asking.
Everyone stopped asking because one, she's very private, fair enough.
Yeah.
And two, it wasn't something she openly spoke about. So, amazing.
Well, I'm loving it because I know Nana that used to work on Fabulous is really good friends with AJ, and they're always on like girly holidays together. So I was just thought, oh, single girlies abroad. But now I'm like, Nana, what's the tea? Like,
Yes. Brilliant. Just love it. Okay, girlies, I need to know what your bin and binges are this week. Kelly Allen.
I am binging Oasis. I am like nostalgic o'clock because next week the tour finally starts. I just can't wait for the set list. I will watch every video. But even this week, like it's starting to build. We had like Adidas dropped a collection with Oasis. That was our first sort of seeing the image of them together. Sold out really quickly. Then they're starting to talk about what merch we're going to get. Even like Aldi is doing this champagne called like Champagne Supernova that only can be bought in Manchester. I'm just so here for it. So I'm just like, yes, bring me a summer of Oasis.
Did you hear about the Oasis set list? So
Tell me.
Bizarre had a story about this, that at the minute it's looking like they won't be singing Wonderwall.
I mean, surely not.
Yeah, that would be...
They just hate it.
I think, Noel wrote it about his ex-wife. And I always think that with all musicians, like, is there a song you're just like, I don't want to sing this anymore because I don't love that person anymore.
Yeah, so right now, Wonderwall doesn't appear to be on the set list. Now, that could change in a second. They probably don't even need to rehearse it, do they? Let's face it. He could decide in 1 second, let's do Wonderwall next. But right now, it's looking like they might not. And
everyone will sing it on the way, the way down to Wembley when everyone sings together.
I'll be walking down Wembley Way blasting it out.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if they want to ruffle feathers, that's the way to do it, right? What are you binning?
I am binning companies, brands inviting influencers to concerts. And this is sort of ahead of Oasis because I just don't want to see it. I do not want to see some former Love Islander mouthing the lyrics, Don't Look Back in Anger, just for the content. It's just, I'm not into it. There was loads of it at Beyonce. There was loads of it at the Chris Brown concerts. And I'm just like, no, those tickets, give them to the fans. I just am not here for it. It really, really irritates me.
What's the Oasis version of the Apple Dance?
That's a good question.
I say that with dread.
I mean,
please don't let that happen, right?
They're all going to be in bucket hats. I can tell. It's going to be bucket hats and like
Cowboy Carter.
Yeah. Well, that was the Cowboy Carter. They were all like, what's your favorite Beyonce song? Oh, I love Love on Top. I'm like, that came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Current album, please. Yeah.
Wow. Feisty opinion.
I love that.
Emily, how do you follow that? What are you binning?
I am binning. So I've been watching Love Island this week. I feel there is so much chat about what your chat is like. Mm-hmm. Do you have good chat? What's your chat's like? And they sit down. I watched the episode. I thought, no one's actually spoken about anything. I actually like when they do their fire pit speech because they actually come out with some opinions, something a bit different. Yeah, bored of it.
Too much chat about chat and no actual chat.
No actual chat. What is their chat?
No chat. And you're binging?
I am binging CMAT. So I said she's at Glastonbury, potentially doing a secret set. And she has this amazing Jamie Oliver track. I believe it's called the Jamie Oliver Petrol Station.
Wait, Jamie Oliver the chef?
Jamie Oliver the chef. So essentially, this is nothing to do with her hatred for Jamie Oliver. She's sort of neutral to Jamie Oliver. It's essentially about how she has these, we all have these like annoyances and you can't really pinpoint. You're like, why am I annoyed about that person? Like, why are they getting on my nerves? And it's a love letter to herself. Like, don't give them time of day. Like, don't worry about it. Like, they've got kids, they've got family. Just let them be.
But why is poor Jamie involved?
Jamie is involved, and actually,
how do you feel about this?
I really want Jamie Oliver's opinion on this. Yeah.
We need to talk about this more because
Jamie Oliver got to give her the ick.
Yeah, I know. And it's like
Jamie.
a 5-6 minute track. It's a long track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she also has a great song, Take a Sexy Picture of Me, which has been doing the rounds on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
she's taking sexy pictures of Jamie.
Not Jamie.
We need to know more. Someone go find out more.
It's great.
I'm obsessed. My bin is very pedestrian compared to that. I'm binning public transport.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like we're all trying to get places, trying to get on holiday, trying to go to festivals. I'm sick of spending £100 to stand up in a hot tube of metal. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I am binging, this is tremendously uncool of me, Fubar on Netflix. Okay. So this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's action series. He essentially plays himself. It's a elderly action hero type character in a family of spies. It is the most by the book, written by Arnie type script you've ever seen, but it's just such addictive fun. Stick it on. It's just perfect and just easy watching. And it's, as I say, the opposite of all these trendy things we've been talking about. But look, someone's got to keep things relatable, guys.
They have.
That's your Showbiz Fix for the week, and you can get a whole lot more telly and entertainment tidbits if you subscribe here at the Sun Showbiz on YouTube, and you can hear us in your ears wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.